Hello, welcome back to Aspen Grove Adventures. We are wrapping up our time here in Twin Falls, Idaho. We've been here for 2 weeks, and tomorrow we are hitting the road to our next stop, still in Idaho, but further to the east.
Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live.
So we came into Idaho 2 weeks ago. This is my first time really spending any time in Idaho. I think I may have driven through it once as a kid, and then Matt has come here a lot of times for work, but he's never done touristy things or really explored. He's just, gone to the site that he was working at and then left without doing anything exciting. So we were really excited to come to Idaho, and I was really excited to come to Twin Falls in particular because I really wanted to see Shoshone Falls. Shoshone Falls is known as the Niagara of the West. So it took us a while to make it there, so we'll talk about that later in the video. The first thing we did though was we pulled into the campsite that we're staying at. We immediately got set up and then hopped back in the truck and drove a few miles over to the Twin Falls Visitor Center, which was really cool. I'm glad we did that very first to kind of give us an overview. It was a great introduction to Idaho and to Twin Falls and the things in the area. They had like a lot of pamphlets you could pick up and read. They had a fun little gift shop with lots of potato themed stuff, and then they had like a bunch of information and signage about the area and its geography and its history and what there is to do now in the area. But the coolest thing about this place is it is right on the edge of the Snake River Gorge. So the Snake River snakes its way through Idaho, and it's like down in a canyon, which is pretty narrow. It's a pretty narrow canyon. So there's this great view. There's a viewing point that you can go out and walk out onto, and you could see down, and it's just so beautiful. And then there's also the Perrin Bridge, which is a pretty famous bridge. It's something about it being like the highest or one of the tallest bridges. Luckily it's like pretty short, so it's not like scary because you're not over the gorge for very long. But so we did that first, and I'm really glad we started there because it was a good spot to kind of get an overview of what the next couple weeks had in store for us. So I just realized I made a little bit of a mistake. We did not come in on a Saturday. 98% of the time, probably, maybe 95% of the time, we travel on a Saturday, and so that's just what I'm used to. But I was looking up just now, like, what did we do on Sunday if we rolled in on a Saturday? We rolled in on Sunday because we had the drive from Lake Tahoe, California, all the way, like, through Nevada and then up to Idaho. So we did a boondocker's welcome, and just kind of stayed one night in the middle of nowhere, Nevada. And because of that, we actually rolled in on a Sunday, and then we went over to the visitor center. So I've talked about it many times, but while we do have the luxury of being able to travel full-time, we don't vacation full-time. So Matt worked Monday through Friday. I went grocery shopping and did the laundry and took care of the dogs and cleaned the RV and all the stuff I would have done at a house, while Matt worked his many hour a week job. So we didn't do much touristy stuff throughout the week, but then we went to Shoshone Falls on Friday, the first Friday afternoon that we were in town, and it did not disappoint. It was gorgeous. It was massive. It's so crazy. We learned about the history of it and how, like, they dammed it in order to irrigate the valley to make it good for growing plants, and then now they let water through. Unfortunately, because they regulate how much water can come over the falls for electricity and irrigation reasons, the falls were not as strong or as large as they can sometimes be, but they were still pretty dang big. There are a good amount of national park sites in the area. I don't think there were any capital N, capital P national parks, but that doesn't matter. Some of the smaller parks, or parks with a lower designation, if you want to call it lower, are pretty dang amazing. So there's a handful. We made it to we wanted to go to Minidoka, which is a Japanese internment campsite, but they aren't open for the season. And then, so one of them was about an hour and a half north, the other one was like an hour and a half south, and the one was like 30 minutes west. So it was just too many directions, so we didn't make it to the one that was south of us. But the Saturday that we were here, that Matt wasn't working because it was a Saturday, we made our way up to Craters of the Moon, and that was so cool, and I got so much footage from that it's going to be its own video. So if you want to like subscribe and hold off till next week, you will see our video of Craters of the Moon National Park, it's a national park site. I'm not sure exactly what its designation is. But then on Sunday we went to a national park that I was pretty excited about, Hagerman Fossil Beds, National Historic Site, I think. It is the location of the oldest known equus animal, and equus is a prehistoric precursor to the horse. So they're pretty sure what happened is the horse comes from here, not the horse, but the horse's great-great-grandpa comes from here, and then they traveled to Europe over the Bering Strait, the Bering Land Bridge, and then down, and then in Europe area they evolved into the modern day horse, and in Africa they evolved into a zebra, and then eventually we brought those animals back around. Humans brought them back to here. So that was very interesting, and we really enjoyed that part. Part I was really excited though about was the Wagon ruts from the Oregon Trail. It's right along the Oregon Trail, and you could still see the ruts in the ground, so that was pretty cool. So I think... Oh, you weren't supposed to focus on my finger, camera. I think out there, maybe? A little closer here, maybe? And so we did all of that on a Sunday, and we took the wrong hike, and we're very exhausted by the time we did both the little hikes. And we came back to the RV, and it was another work week. So Matt worked, and then there was a day this past week, I think it was Wednesday, I took the dogs down into the gorge. There was a park called Centennial Riverfront Park, and so I took the dogs down there, and they got to play in the water. They goofed around in the Snake River. Teddy got very upset because I had a stick, and I was trying to entertain him with the stick. He did not care about the stick. And then at one point I kind of tossed the stick out past him into the water, and it started to float away. And then he was very sad that he had lost the stick that he did not care about. So like I said, we take off tomorrow. We are headed to a different section in Idaho. But then on Sunday, so the day after tomorrow, I hop on an airplane and I head back to California for a doctor's appointment. And I'm going to be gone 2 nights and then I'll be back. But I am going to film parts of that trip because I wanted to kind of talk about prenatal care while traveling. So if you missed last week's video, we are expecting a baby coming this fall, so you should definitely go watch that video if you want to know a little bit more about that. But I know that full-time traveling is a little bit like, well, how do I get prenatal care if I'm pregnant? So I wanted to make a video about that. So that video is coming up in 2 weeks. I'm leaving in 2 days, but that video will be coming up for you guys in 2 weeks because next week is Craters of the Moon. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss the stuff that is coming, please do subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!
Do